Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. Folks, today is an XRP video, and as you can see, I have the XRP chart open, and XRP is in the midst of a nice little move up. Now, what is going on here, and why is it moving up? That is the question that I would like to resolve today. So if you remember my previous video on XRP, I mentioned that I believe XRP is going to, or there was the possibility for it to move up. I believe this and even this right here is a manifestation of what I was thinking could potentially happen. Now, how high will this go? Well, let me zoom out and show you the big picture before we delve back into this. So if you're not familiar with some of my previous XRP videos, I believe XRP in a major correction has a pattern that it repeats every single correction. I split it up into different segments. I'll quickly put those on. Here are the different segments of the structure of a declining structure in XRP. Essentially, there are 6 points going from A, B, C, D to F. Sometimes A, this move up right here, is not there. In this case, it is. Structurally, these fractals repeat. Now, when a fractal repeats, it's never identical, but the overall structure should be similar, and that is what we see, and that is why I say it is a repetitive structure. The structure repeats. The outcome looks different sometimes, in fact every time, but structurally it's doing the same thing. For instance, for right here, D, so C declines, D has this little move up right here, it declines and makes this like bull thing right here, and then it declines. Same with E, it moves, price moves up, and it does this bull before declining into F. Now, F is the final stage, the capitulation fractal, if you will, and that is where we currently are at this point. And this fractal, the very first time it played out was in the first decline that ever took place, which was back in 2013. And essentially, every single F fractal has repeated the same kind of basic structure. Now, it plays out differently. Some are oriented more on a vertical axis versus a more horizontal axis like this right here. But structurally, they are the same pattern playing out in a unique way each time. And what I mean about that, for instance, right here, it comes down, it moves up, and then it has this little push up right here before declining. That you see on all the capitulation fractals. You have this move up right here, this little peak, and then it usually does this swoop thing. Now, the way it all plays out is unique every time. Sometimes this peak is greater than this. Sometimes this swoop isn't quite as large. Let me compare this to the original one. So this is the original, the very first time it played out back in 2014. It was part of the ending portion of the 2013 decline. And as you can see, that DNA signature is still in this. You have that move up, that little move up right here. This peak right here is over here this time. And then we're working on this swoop. Now we have this little move up right here. Let's zoom in on that and further analyze what is currently taking place here. Okay, so this is on a 3-hour chart right here. And we can see that move up closer. Now, in a previous video, I showed how this fractal right here was being repeated over here, and this was slightly different. It was doing something different here. Let me show you how this fractal compares to this right here. Okay, so as you can see, this little part right here has been stretched out, and it's been a fairly close match. This little part right here is this larger part right here. You can see how it kind of has followed this even on the declining part. Now here it's doing something different. And on my previous video, I speculated that it would start moving up, and I believe that this and even this is part of that move up. I currently believe that it is likely, I'm not going to say for sure, that this will probably turn down and complete that original fractal that I showed you on the bigger time frame. Now, over the past day, I also came across an interesting discovery that I'd like to show you. So here we are on a slightly larger time frame, a 4-hour candle. So I noticed that if you took this fractal right here and copy and pasted it onto starting around here, the peak of this swoop down, it's actually very similar. Let me show you what I mean. So here is that fractal pasted onto the current chart. And as you can see, now again, it's not exact. When a fractal plays out, it's never going to be identical, but the overall structure of the current chart should echo the fractal that it is following. And we can see that here. So for instance, you see price move down, and then it has this little kind of zigzag here, these two little peaks right here, and then it drops down further. This right here, they kind of mimic each other. Over here, it went higher, didn't quite go as high originally, but then it fell. And then over here, it goes diagonally up and then drops again. The original time, it dropped further and came up at a sharper angle. This time, it didn't quite do that. It came up and down here, and now it should be pulling up here, but man, whoo, that is quite a move up. However, as we can see here, like originally this one dropped further than what took place this time around. So there is some variance. Now, is this a variation of this just moving up higher? Say like here, for instance, this one didn't quite move so dramatically up high, or even here. So is this something like that? And then we're going to kind of see it kind of start moving down again. I think that is a highly likely possibility. And folks, this whole fractal here, this is a bear fractal. This is what you would see in a bear market. We are near the end, I believe, of that bear market or that declining structure. But I don't think, or I would be surprised. It's a possibility that it could go up. But I think the odds are greater, at least at this point, that it continues to do something similar to this. Now, if this thing started shooting way up and it got past like a lot of this stuff over here, I would start to reconsider that possibility. And there is one instance in this F fractal, this final capitulation fractal, where it kind of did something like this, and then on this swoop, it just kind of capitulated around this area. So, hey, maybe something like that is at play. If it is, we should see a much greater move up than just this right here. Now, this fractal took place around April 1st to May 14th. And this is interesting, folks. So this is Bitcoin, and I basically have that same time frame on the Bitcoin chart. So that fractal that Bitcoin produced going on its downward move over here. So right around here, roughly on the same time frame, around April 1st to March 13th or 14th, I believe it is, down here. And as you can see, it is a very close match. Now, again, when a fractal plays out, it's not exact, but the overall structure is pretty close so far. And it's the same exact time frame that is currently playing out. We can see the same thing on Ethereum as well. Let's go take a look at that. So on Ethereum, if you take this fractal from right here down to roughly right around here, this is what you get. Now let's zoom in on that and take a look at this. You see that, again, Not exact, but pretty close. It's so far been following it. So here we are back at XRP. And as you can see, these fractals, they're not exact replicas of each other. The Bitcoin fractal is different from the XRP fractal. The Ethereum and the Bitcoin fractal are more similar to each other, but the XRP one is probably the most different from the other two. So it is moving up where it should. Now, let's see what happens next. And folks, the fractals on the Bitcoin chart, on the Ethereum chart, they're all deep bear fractals, which gives weight to the idea that this is not the recovery yet. Now, I believe the recovery for XRP, or the next phase, shall we say, of XRP is around the corner. I don't know when it will happen, but this fractal needs to play out to a completion point first, and after that, XRP will move into its next phase. And that next phase, price will move back up more drastically. However, it's not going to be the big bull run. It will be a time of sideways, kind of range-bound time that brings us to that next point where it does go into the next bull run. Folks, that time will come when the next bull run comes. The way you get there, and it has always been like this. You go through, after a decline, you go through a sideways range-bound time. I've broken up that time into 3 fractals, and I believe that structure has repeated every single time after a major decline in XRP. So we do have sunny days ahead of us. We just need to get to the completion point of this, and then we'll move into that next phase. So for me, the way I look at it, this decline does not mean it's bad for XRP. It's just part of the road to the next bull run. You know, if you enjoyed this type of video where I deep dive into the chart, examine the fractals and the patterns and the overall structure, you should hit that subscribe button because you'll be notified of when I put out new videos. I put out videos on a regular basis. If you found value in this video, you can also hit that thumbs up button. And one important thing to note, I am not a financial advisor, so nothing I present here should be construed as financial or investment advice. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching it. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.